Perfect.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Beauty of Boxing. We are here with my co-host,
Robert James,
ring announcer for Red Boxing. He is coming on my show today and everybody gets to hear his fabulous, fabulous voice. He is the, I don't know how to say it, spokesperson for Red Boxing.
I am the voice of Red Boxing.
The voice!
And Red Promotions, as I was. Red Promotions.
Yes. So he's here today with me. I'm going to do a little, a new crime mini-series. So you're going to be my introductory episode.
Okay.
Guinea pig.
That's right. We're never afraid to try new things out.
Right? It's for boxing.
For boxing.
Exactly. So we're going to do, the new crime mini-series that I want to do. Is basically, I know there's tons of crime in boxing. We're not going to discuss stuff going on now, guys. Calm down. Don't get crazy. We're not going to, go in depth and get everybody in trouble right now. But we are going to talk about fighters that, died. There's a lot of fighters that have died under intense circumstances, mysterious, because fighters' lives are crazy.
I agree.
They're entertainers. Not only are they boxers, fighters, whatever, but they're also entertainers, and they get millions of dollars, and so their lives can be tumultuous. What is that word?
Tumultuous.
Tumultuous. I almost got it. Dang it.
It's okay.
Okay, so their lives are obviously crazy, right? And I'm a chismosa. I want to know.
Can you explain what a chismosa is for our viewers, please?
Okay, so chismosa is slang in Spanish. I don't even know Spanish. I know I'm Mexican, but my Spanish slang is on point every time, right? Mm-hmm. It's on fleek, always. And chismosa is nosy. Gossiper, nosy. I like to know the cheese, what's going on, right?
That's right.
And I'm so nosy, crime, death, boom, I love it. I'm on it. I love that stuff. I'm disgusting. I have a dark humor. Is it humor?
Well, you're not the only one. There's a lot of people that follow crime shows, and there's a lot of people that love to, they don't want to be involved. They'd rather see it from a distance, on a show or a movie. They vicariously live through that, and they're entertained. Yeah. And you are definitely here to provide that for our viewers, because we're going to go into some athletes that have lived that lifestyle, unfortunately. Yeah. Those who have passed, and 9 times out of 10, they're violent deaths. Yeah. And they lived a life of violence through performing, through violent sports like boxing.
Yeah.
So it just goes
hand in hand. Nobody really talks about how violent boxing is. I mean, it's a violent sport. It's combat, one-on-one. I mean, with the commission, I can't even say stuff about the commission. But I mean, the crime not involving the commission. But I mean, it's a violent sport, right? It's hands-on,
but all the way from back in the days when they used to fight at the Coliseum, it's entertainment. People love violence.
Yeah.
Violence.
We're here for it.
Everybody will stop what they're doing because they want to see who's going to win this, this boxing match or this fight to the death match.
Did you see the last fight? Oh my gosh, I don't even know when it was, but it was Michael Collin and Lee Wood. It was just recently on Matchroom, a couple of days ago, a Saturday, I think. Oh my gosh, it was so intense because, they were beating the shit out of each other, those two guys. And we definitely, I think by round 2, I was like, Mick Collins gonna knock this guy out, right? Because he's the Ireland sensation. I don't know if you know who he is. He was in the Olympics, and he was well known because he lost in the Olympics, and everybody kind of knew he won, but the judges kind of favored the other guy, and he flipped everybody off at the end. So he got a big, that was the picture of the year, him flipping off the judges.
Oh wow!
And then he turned pro. Top Rank picked him up. Did a couple of shows, and I kind of had, he even trained here in LA. He came from LA. I got a shirt from him because I love him so much because he's from Ireland, and then he was his symbol on his shirts was clovers, and I love clovers. I'm obsessed, in case you don't know. I love green.
And tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day.
Yes, my favorite day ever. And tomorrow's there's fights. Tom Loeffner is having fights for 360 promotion.
Oh. Okay.
Downtown in Montebello, I believe.
Quiet Canyon.
Is it Quiet Canyon?
QC's, I believe so, Montebello, yes.
Yes, so I'm gonna be there definitely. I have my green dress. It's gonna be so fun. I'm gonna go. But, so tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day, and of course he had like a clover on his shirt, Michael Conlon, I still have it. So I was like, yes, I need that, right? I love clovers, I need that. So I got the shirt, had his signature and everything, and he was doing good. He was training here in LA with Manny Robles, and then his performances were kind of like mediocre, right? He didn't really stand up to like that hype that they built for him. So then this fight they had in the UK, he wasn't fighting and I don't think he's even fighting on Top Rank. I'm not sure if he's fighting on Top Rank anymore now. I think they let him go after his kind of performance was just mediocre.
Okay.
So he's fighting in the UK, and I mean he was whooping the guy's ass first 2 rounds, really good. I think he knocked him out, and then but the guy just continued to stay there, right? He kept the pressure on, didn't get out of his way. He was still there standing, and I was like, he's gonna go down in the 2nd round. 4th round, 5th round, 6th round. Stayed up the whole time. He was getting his ass beat, but he stayed there, you know, and he was getting his punches in. He was doing well. 11th round, I believe, or what was it?
No, last round.
12th round. Maybe a minute left. Knocked him out. Knocked Mick Conlon out so bad he fell through the ring and literally went out on a stretcher. Bad. I mean, it was real bad where it was violent. He dropped, and I think he even hit him one more time before. You can see while he's going down, he hit him. He's out, dead, going down. Woo! And then he hits him.
Got another shot in right before he hit the ground.
And I was like, and people were mad, you know. I mean, a KO is a KO to me. I'm a boxing fan. I'm going crazy, screaming, you know, in my bedroom like a nutcase. But people online were like, that's their guy. You know, Mick Conlon's their guy from Ireland. So they were pissed. They were like, how dare you in the time of need? And I'm like, it's a violent sport, guys. Like,
that's what it is.
That's what we're waiting for. That's what y'all wanted. But if it would have been Lee, it would have been not your guy. They would have been a little bit different, you know? But because it's their guy, they were so mad that he got knocked out. But I mean, it was a crazy knockout. The other guy, the guy that won, Lee Wood, he was so messed up, his face. He was so beat up. And it was just, I mean, that's it. It was one knockout. That's what boxing is. You know, it can happen.
Right, and you know, a lot of people, they're just not into the pity-patty points. They want to see knockouts. And you know who really, really, like, just put that out there on the map was Mike Tyson. You would watch Mike Tyson, you know someone's, you know he's
going to get knocked. Someone's getting knocked out. He's going to hurt somebody.
And you just want to see how it's going to get done. And you know what? Mike Tyson, I mean, he put it out there. And that was his style of fighting.
Killer.
That killer mentality.
That's one thing we should also like go into, because Mike Tyson had a crazy life, an intense one. I mean, he's still going. He's still crazy.
He's still going. Yes.
Sometimes he says the craziest things online, and I'm like,
he has no filter. And you know what? Mike Tyson, right? He will tell you like it is, whether he's right or wrong.
Oh yeah, that's just how that's how he sees it. That's how I am too. I'm gonna tell you how it is. This is how I see it. I know people don't give a fuck. I know people don't care about my opinion. You don't have to watch my show if you don't have my opinion, because that's obviously what it is. It's only my opinion. I'm not obviously the smartest person in the world. I'm not telling people to follow me.
Okay.
Don't do it.
You know, Mike Tyson, he was a gladiator of our time. And you know, the guy would just put people to sleep. He would and everybody all over the world would tune in on him. Mike Tyson fight, we're stopping what we're doing and we're watching. We want to see how this guy is going to go and tear this person up.
Yeah.
That's what we want to see.
Right. See, this is how in 1978, 1979, this guy from Puerto Rico, where in Puerto Rico? You know the name.
Is it Mayamon?
Bayamon.
Bayamon, Puerto Rico.
Yes, Hector Macho Camacho. He was somebody who everybody wanted to watch.
He was an entertainer.
He was an entertainer.
He would go in the ring and do his little antics, but guess what? It worked for him, and he backed it up by his performance in the ring.
That's what everybody said, because he did ridiculous things going into that ring.
Dressing
like a clown, dressing like, I think he did like Native American. He did the I don't know what it was. He's crazy. He did a bunch of
yes, it was attention though.
Yes.
And he got it.
He figured out how to make money efficiently and get, but he also backed it up.
He backed it up.
He had what, I think he had, let me see.
What was his professional record?
Okay, well, his amateur, 100 fights, 94 wins.
Yeah.
Or 96 wins, 4 losses.
96 out of 100.
That's
that is
4 losses.
Great. And
How can you? And it's so funny. His idol growing up was Bruce Lee. Not even a fight like a boxer, but it was a fighter, Bruce Lee.
Right.
And he wanted to mimic his style. But I see, like, when I think of Hector Macho, not only do I think of like the outfits, whatever, but I think of his speed, right, and the way he carried his arms, you know, because he did different. I think the jab. He kind of changed it.
It was an unorthodox jab, as they would say.
There you go.
He had his own style with his jabbing, and it was effective. Because he definitely, you know, he found his own way. He didn't follow everybody else's lead. He created his own. And, you know, he was able to be a successful fighter that way.
Yeah.
Because when you're successful, people don't forget about you.
Yeah. And he holds a legacy. The crazy thing is, and the chismosa that I am, is that I saw on the news on March 9th, just recently, they updated the case and they arrested 5 suspects on his murder. And so I'm like, I want to know what happened. I want to know everything. But I can't really find so much there's tons on his life. Because like you said, he holds a legacy. His name is to be remembered, you know, not only for Puerto Ricans, but in the States. He was well known, you know. And I think he pro debuted in 1980. But he was, let me see, he went before he got lost. Was he 21-0? 21-0 before he lost. So I mean, he was really proving it. You know, he wasn't just going in there, not doing anything. As an amateur, he already had a career, right? He already was known. 100 fights and you only lose 4.
Yeah, in baseball, I mean, you go 500 and you have a $30 million contract just for, you know, hitting the ball 50% of the time. So in boxing,
that sounds like a good percentage, right?
My goodness, I mean, that's a shoo-in right there.
Yeah, and he won. I believe he won like 3 or 4 Golden Gloves in New York, because that's where they ended up moving from Puerto Rico. When he was young, they moved to New York.
Yes.
Yeah, so he I think the problem with him was drugs. I think that was his
involvement,
problem.
his, you know, outside of the ring lifestyle ultimately. Yeah. You know, got him caught up with him losing his life.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately. And what happens with is a lot of guys, even in football, people, they're off the field actions, out of the ring actions, that ultimately catches up to them, their lifestyle. Yeah. They're superstars when they're performing, but when they're outside of the ring, there's a whole other life.
Yeah.
There's a whole other life, and it could be a life where, hey, you know, they're out there doing, you know, great things, or they're out there just doing what they did before, and they're going to continue that. Unfortunately,
but now they have enablers, and now they have money. You know, that's the problem. Like, I'm a recovering addict. Like, I was an addict for a long time. I know that. I know my weaknesses. Like, 9 years of being an addict is a long time. You know, I know that if I was wealthy and I didn't have a child, because he's my reason, you know, to stay sober. Why would I have a child to take care of, right? But, I mean, if I didn't have a child and I had lots of money, I mean, I'm pretty sure the temptation is there.
And, you know, I don't
know how I would be able to handle it.
In all sports, a lot of these athletes come from, you know, not so great areas, and they weren't exactly multi-millionaires prior to their success into whatever sport that it is. Yeah. So they have those habits, and sometimes they revert back to those habits regardless, because you can't take... Just like you can't take the hood out of the homeboy when they, you know, it's still in there.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, people will end up losing their lives. And then, you know, again, we're talking about that in professional boxing, how these boxers had all this success and ultimately they lose their life, you know, due to violence for things that they've done outside of boxing.
Right. Like, this had nothing to do with boxing. A lot of the documentaries and things that I see on him, books that I read, articles and stuff, a lot of it talks about his life before or in the ring. You know, a lot of his life is in the ring, because that's the stuff that they really want him to be known for. Nobody really wants to remember Hector Macho Camacho for getting shot in the face while having a bag of cocaine open and 9 other bags of cocaine in the car. That had nothing to do with this performance. That had nothing to do with him, Don King signing him and him becoming a millionaire, buying his mom a house, and doing all these good things. But it caught up to him because he couldn't control it. And I'm sure there's so many temptations. I don't know what I would do. Like,
along with that is, he had a lot of money, and sometimes when that money runs out,
yeah,
guess what? They'll go chase the big dollar, and unfortunately, the big dollar was with sales, trafficking, whatever it was. Unfortunately, he had a situation where he had all that, and guess what? I mean, he got his life taken violently. Again, he said he got shot in the face with all this drugs. So,
yeah,
living that lifestyle, that comes with the territory.
yeah. And it's sad that I think his mom and stuff were upset that he went to that life, because I think he was, when he got to that high, like not the drug high, but like the money high,
yes.
Right? He got to that high and he was at this level. You want to stay there. You don't want, and I think I see his record. I look at his record, and it's like he was almost like how I see Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., who I love. He's my idol. I love Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., right? He's Mexico's champion,
Golden champion.
We love him. So I love him. I've always loved him. There he is over there on my wall. But he, I feel like he's still fighting, and it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary, but he wants to make money, and that's the only way they know how, is fighting. I think Hector Macho Camacho fought past his prime and continued fighting because the money was there.
Right.
And it's always going to be a big fight. I think he fought. He fought tons of people. Number one, he fought Freddie Roach. That's kind of random, a trainer, right? He fought Freddie Roach when Freddie Roach was a professional boxer. He fought Ray Mancini. He fought Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. twice. He fought Sugar Ray Leonard, Felix Trinidad.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he did not care. This is fearless. How do you fight Oscar De La Hoya? How do you... Hector Macho Camacho did.
He sure did.
Like,
put on a good show, too.
Everybody went. Everybody was there, and I think that he continued that. He wanted to continue that. Obviously, the wealth, the status. The thing that sucks for boxers is like when their career is over, how do you know it's over for boxers? Everybody knows that about 32, 33, you're kind of getting up there, you know what I mean? But there's no 401k. There's no retirement fund for boxers. So how do they have to build?
They get no retirement pension. I mean, the NFL, after 4 seasons, they give them a pension for life. I mean, boxing, they gotta, it's...
You gotta continue making money.
Yeah.
How are you gonna do it? If you don't make your own promotion, if you don't make your own glove, or you don't have your own gym, how are you gonna continue at that level of wealth, especially when you're getting 2, 3, 4 million a fight, and then...
Yeah, that's tough.
And so I feel like he fought beyond what he should have, but, he didn't really have a choice. What fighters have a choice? You can see Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. is still doing exhibition fights.
Ooh.
Still at this age. Why? And he's the world champion of Mexico. Mexicans adore Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. And yet he's still trying to make money in boxing because he doesn't know anything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's that. And you know what? That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
In this case, there's just people. This is all they know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in all walks of life. Some people, hey, dealing drugs. That's all they know. They're gonna go do it, and it's not gonna stop.
Yeah.
Some people, they might officiate sports. That's all they know. They might have officiate, baseball and the minor leagues, and they get released, and they end up, that's all they know for the last 10 years. So now they got to work college, high school baseball, and they're going to do that for the rest of their life because that's just what they know.
Yeah.
So that's just, that's what it is. It applies to a lot of people.
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. They called the operation of arresting the suspects. That they arrested 5 suspects in March. They called it Operation Knockout.
Wow.
Because it's Hector Macho Camacho.
Mm-hmm. But I'm sure the agents out there in Puerto Rico, they they're pretty determined to catch these guys, because you know what, Hector Macho Camacho was a big name out there, and a lot of these guys probably did grow up watching him, and they were huge fans.
Yeah.
So they really emphasizes really trying to resolve this case.
Yeah, I mean, even for his mother, I mean, she really was depth into this case and really wanting justice for her child. I mean, he made her life so much better. Yes. You know, on two different levels. Obviously, with wealth, he bought her a house. You know what I mean? Got her cars, but she had to go through everything with the drugs and all that with him. She's a mom. You know,
I was watching the footage of the funeral, and it was crazy because this man also had a lot of women.
Oh yes.
And he had women fighting in front of his casket.
No way.
There was cat fights in front of the casket.
No way, really?
Yes, there was, unfortunately, at a funeral.
I bet you it was, okay, because I know his wife, Amy, the one that was, they were split up. I think they divorced, but they got back together, split up, back together with the kids. You know, it's baby mama. Baby mama number 1 is always, you know? Mm-hmm. So, then he had, what's her name? Cynthia, a girl named Cynthia. She was an escort, working in the escort service, because the guy that he got killed with, Adrian Mojeca, Adrian Mojeca Moreno. He was the guy that got killed with him in the car. He was involved in a escort ring, and would obviously supply him with women. Because, Hector Camacho was a ladies' man and gorgeous, as he is that Puerto Rican gorgeous man. But, I mean, he was all over the place.
Sure was.
A little messy with the women, But now, I know, because the girl, I think Cynthia, they were saying how crazy she was, violent, and the other escorts that he was dating, that were in and out of his life. I'm sure, but
definitely, you can check it out on YouTube. Just check out the women's fight in front of Hector Camacho's casket, and they'll show it, unfortunately. But this guy, he had an impact on people, especially with the women in his life.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes that happens. We are crazy, and no doubt he was fucking around with Latinas. You know that, right? Puerto Rican women. Oh, who you playing with?
That's right.
Stop! It ain't the place. It ain't the place to play. Look what happened to what's his name? Remember, Verdugo? Have you heard about him?
No, I didn't.
Is he Puerto Rican?
Yes.
Puerto Rican, top ranked fighter. What's his name?
Felix Verdugo.
Felix Verdugo. Yes, he killed his side chick. And they have it like all on camera, him dumping the body and everything. It's so sad.
Oh, wow.
But him and the baby mama were in on it to kill the side chick, because she wanted to become, I think she was pregnant, wanted to become public, and he's a fighter with top rank. Now he's in jail.
Wow.
He's in jail for
he's
life.
Never gonna get out.
Never gonna get out.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big case. That one was sad. It was last year, I believe. I think she went missing, and the mom and the sister were like, they went to go meet to tell him that she was pregnant, and he killed her, him and the wife, or the ex-wife, baby mama.
She also convicted as well?
I believe she went to jail too.
To murder?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe that? I mean, women are crazy. We will do crazy shit. I'm gonna speak for Mexicans. We will do crazy shit, Latinas. We're wild.
Yeah,
no reason at all.
Not just Mexicans, but all Latinas, right? Yeah, the Latina culture.
All
Hispanics. Those spicy women there.
What do we say? We cannot be your piece because I'm Hispanic. Hispanic.
Oh,
you see?
My goodness.
I can't be your piece because I'm Hispanic.
Damn.
It's impossible.
Do you hear that, listeners, followers? I mean, you gotta pick up on some of these.
Red flags.
Yeah.
Red flags. I'm single for a reason, huh? I'm just kidding.
I don't know. She says she has these husbands who are these big boxers, so I don't know. She's still claiming to be single.
I will claim to be single for my whole life. My son, he thinks I'm single. He tells me, Mom, you should marry you should marry Jake Paul, Mom, or Logan Paul, or Canelo. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go marry them, son. Hold on, don't worry about it.
Yeah, you can message them on Facebook.
You
can propose.
Right? I got it in the bag.
Just say you don't need a prenup because we got this.
We're fine. I got it under control. He's gonna be like, no, you're Hispanic, and not my piece. I heard that and I couldn't stop laughing. I think it's the most hilarious thing ever.
Yes.
Right?
Innocence.
But I thought this was intense that they really aren't giving any motive to why they killed Camacho.
Yeah, it's funny because if they found him with all this cocaine, it wasn't a robbery. More of a punishment execution.
Right. Because all the bags of coke were left there.
To make an example.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
thinking. They shot him right here in the jaw. It went through. I think it hit 2 vertebrae through a lung and then out. And then the driver of the car, Adrian, he got out. I think they were shooting him and he got out and then died right behind the car. But they were shot like
execution
style,
mercenaries.
Mercilessly.
Oh, mercilessly. Okay.
Yeah. They were. It was bad.
Yeah, that type of.
In a strip mall. It's on a big street in Puerto Rico. It's not like hidden, But it was in Puerto Rico also, and the Puerto Rican not government because it's U.S. government, but the Puerto Rican police that took care of it.
Mm-hmm.
They aren't putting really much out because I think they want to, the mom, it's her son's legacy also. He's a famous boxer. They don't want to really put so much out there. Already out there is that he died with the bag of coke open next to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's an ugly look, but for his mom's sake, she doesn't want her son out there being known. She's happy with them arresting who they've arrested. They said there's 7 men. I don't know how 7 men could be there, but
everybody's involvement.
Yeah, I think they got everybody that's involved.
Yeah, anybody who was involved got taken into custody. Now they're facing, criminal prosecution, and definitely justice will be served now. Because whether you have bags of cocaine and all this drug paraphernalia and all this other money, that doesn't mean that you deserve to get killed.
No. Nobody deserves to give that kind of punishment on somebody.
Because something tangible like cocaine versus your life.
Yeah.
That does not add up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe getting your ass whooped, maybe that kind of.
Right.
But taking a life, you can never come back.
No.
And as far as that, but now they're gonna, justice will be served, and again, we live in a world where there's laws.
Yeah.
And guess what? Murdering somebody is definitely against the law, and that comes with some stiff penalties.
Yeah.
From death to serving a life sentence with no possibility of parole, whatever the case may be. But people are gonna, even if you had something to do with it, you're gonna face some serious time. Yeah. 20+ years.
Oh yeah. In Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be fun.
Not gonna be fun at all.
No. I know. I see. I feel like his mom was super happy when I think maybe 3-4 years ago in 2019 they said that they knew who did it. Specifically, they knew who did it, and they were just getting the information gathered because they didn't want to arrest them and then fuck up, right? Not be able to take it. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants
that case sticks.
Yes. So I think they were waiting. So that was in 2019. They said, I know who did it. We're going to arrest them. They told the mom, don't worry. Well, we're in 2022 now, and they just arrested the final 5 suspects. 2 of them, they say, are dead already, that passed away. And I think 3 of them are were in custody already. Federal custody.
Oh, wow. So they already...
In Miami. And they extradited them, I think. They were in Miami. 2 or 3 of the guys were in Miami, and they extradited them. And they were already being held on federal charges. So these guys are just going to get added charges,
Yeah.
They're not getting out. And then the new 3 they arrested, they even had videos on them, and like one of the guys they arrested and pulled him out of the shower with just a towel. Brought him out, they didn't give a shit.
No, not in a murder case.
Mm-mm.
But my thing is, like, with these guys, they're already in custody with the feds. Now, are they going to finish their Fed time first, and then they're going to extradite back to Puerto Rico after they do their case there? Because they're already going to give them their time, their sentence. So I wonder which one comes first.
Yeah.
I'm just maybe we can research that and see, but maybe we'll mention our next little podcast.
Yeah, because the federal crimes and what is the other one, like state crimes?
Right.
They'll be different, right?
Right.
So these guys that are on the 2 or 3, I'll look into them because I know their names here, and some of them have got like $1 million bonds.
Oh, they're not going.
Well, they ain't going nowhere.
No,
Juan Figueroa, you ain't going nowhere, poo poo. What was the other one? The other ones don't have that much. Oh, these ones. There's a guy, Joshua Romero, Luis Garcia, and William Rodriguez, twice. Okay. $800,000 bonds. They're not going nowhere.
Yeah.
You know? And then there's 2 that have $1 million bond, and then 2 that are passed away. But I mean, these guys aren't going anywhere. But I do want to know federally if they're gonna, what jail time do they serve first, or is it like, what do they call it? Like when they serve them at the same time?
Oh, when they're when they do
the
this,
judge says
but they're not going to run them concurrent.
Concurrent.
Right. They're going to separate them.
Because they're separate. Because
you have Puerto Rico, which is it is part of the U.S., but they have
their own
stuff.
shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So 50 within the states, obviously, but again, it's just I would have to do some research to see who serves what term first.
Yeah.
So
see what happens. Well, I want to look more into it because I'm a chismosa.
That's right.
And I didn't think of this until literally like a couple days ago. And I was like, you know what? I love my favorite. The next one I want to do is Edwin Valero. He's my favorite, right? And so he died suspiciously too. And I want in Venezuela. So I want to know, all the background.
We're gonna do all our homework.
And this is the homework assignment. We're going to look into Edwin Valero next. But we can come back to all this and obviously give little updates. Because this case is ongoing. So I'm sure this Hector Macho Camacho case is going to be, they're still going to get news and we're going to find out more because right now they're not really putting stuff out besides, hey, suspects are arrested, they're in custody, we're good, we know who did it. So we'll find out more as soon as their cases go on trial and stuff like that. And I will follow that because I'm nosy as fuck. I can't help it. I have to know. And I mean, I can't do bad because these guys are passed away already, so I can't really get in trouble. You know what I mean?
Right.
Exposing anybody. I'm not doing anything crazy.
We're not, yes. Because these people have already passed on.
Yes.
I mean, maybe some people who really did, care about may not want things to be said, but then again, it's just we're exercising our freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And, it's...
And I love boxing. I would not put out stuff that, would destroy boxing. Because it's my passion. It keeps me going. It's, everything to me, But this stuff, it interests me because I'm chismosa.
Yes.
What else?
That should be your, what if I were to introduce you in a ring?
Oh my God, I would never.
That would be your...
Chismosa, beauty of boxing.
Chismosa.
Look at her. She can't help it.
With a perfect record.
With the perfect record, like Floyd Mayweather. I always say that. God made me perfect like Floyd Mayweather's record. We're twins.
That's right.
But, so next week, if you're available, we can do another one.
Absolutely.
And then we can do our homework and look into Mr. Valero and see how the suspicious death was. Because I love crime and I love boxing and I think we can find out tons of stuff.
Yes, we can. Actually, we'll have a lot more information on,
And then everybody can get to hear the great voice of...
Robert James, Red Boxing, and Red Promotions.
There we go, guys. Everybody loves hearing ring announcers that actually have beautiful voices. And obviously, guys, he looks gorgeous. We love him in the ring. So, next week, we will be back. And obviously, our next fight, our next MMA, our next boxing event, you guys will hear Robert James.
On April 24th?
April 24th, Avalon.
It's a Sunday, right?
It is a Sunday, yes.
Okay. Our last show was really very interesting. We had a lot of, great people there, and it was a lot of fun, and we had some great broadcasters, and, we had some people from the UFC there, and it was a lot of fun to work with all these folks.
I'm not acquainted with MMA so much, so meeting everybody, finding out how the shows flow, that was all new to me, Yeah, it was exciting.
Jim Cooley was really the ring announcer.
Oh yeah, I saw him.
Yeah, he also served in the Army just like me. We're both veterans.
Oh,
So,
nice.
Mr. Cooley, I'm going to give you a little shout out. He was a Ranger in the United States Army. I mean, it was really cool to work with him and definitely, put our voices together and put on a good show.
Yeah.
And definitely I got good feedback. And,
I didn't even get to meet him because he wanted to interview me.
Oh.
I believe that's who it was because he's like, hey, I saw you. I was ring announcing. And I was like, he's like, I didn't say hi. And I was like, oh no. Because we follow each other on social media, of course, because of boxing, you know?
Yes.
And so he's like, I've been wanting to interview you. He's like, where you been? I'm like, home in my little corner in the office here. But I mean, you can come to my home. I'll bring you. I would bring him here. That'd be cool, you know? And we can interview him.
Sure.
But I love your voice and I appreciate you being on the show. I appreciate you being on hopefully more shows with me.
Yes, we shall.
And we can get some more stuff going. But I mean, you know the setup now. You see what's going on, and hopefully we can do more shows together. I appreciate you coming on.
We are.
Yes.
Yes, we are. Okay.
So we'll let everybody go. You can say bye to that camera. And give your little shout out. Go ahead.
My shout out to all the Red Boxing, actually the Red Promotions fans. Stay up with us. Keep up with our Instagram and our Facebook, and definitely follow us because we are doing great things. You know, we have great shows, and that's the only thing we can keep doing. And just stay up with us. Thank you very much, all you fans out there.
Thanks, guys. We will see you next week.